Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. So glad to see you all once again. I think if everything worked right, this worked on the first try. Last time we had a little bit of technical difficulties getting started, but changed some things around and did a few more tests. And I think we're all in working condition. I see levels on audio. I see my picture. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Say hello in the chat so that I know you're here. I see Brad Ladner is already in here. I see Connor Jackson. Hey, Andy. Nice to see you. Rob Ailing. Hello there. Glitch and Black. Good. I'm seeing some familiar faces. So, of course, this is our weekly watch along. And if you remember last week, if you were here last week, we had a little contest to find who gets to pick the next viewer. We had two winners. Both of them left a super chat and suggested Batman Mask of the Phantasm. So there was no losers. Everybody that picked Batman Mask of the Phantasm. So we're going to be watching that today. I won't take too much time before we get started so that we have plenty of time to watch it. It is like an hour and 16 minutes. So sit back and get ready to enjoy. We got Moods is here. Alex Lemons. Howdy ho, I've arrived. Alex Lemons, haven't heard from you in a while. Andy Reid is here. JCT White Dragon. Hello, I can finally join. Good to see you. I'm glad that you finally made it. So, again, I won't be able to play the movie for all of you. I wish I could, but Warner Brothers wouldn't like that too much. So you will need your own copy, whether it be on the DVD, which I have back here. Wait, I'm backwards. Got my DVD over here. Oh, and also have a Christmas tree. Getting a little festive into the festive season. But if you also, you can watch it on a streaming service. It is still on DC Universe. I know that's going to end here by the end of the year. Or if you have a digital copy or the Blu-ray, any sort of thing, we will be, I'll put up the time code, which will be over here, so that you can see where we are in the playback of that, so that you don't have to wonder where we're at in case something gets hung up on your end, or you need to be able to catch up with us. You can do that. And what I'll do is when we're getting ready to start, I'll say 3, 2, 1, play, and then we'll all watch it together. And again, I'm not going to be commenting on anything up to the second. So as long as you're close or in the same range as we are, you should be just fine. I've got a little bit of water here. I tend to talk through this entire thing, so I end up getting a little parched. But anybody have any good snacks today? I've got some snacks. Who else wants Pretty Poison to be next? Oh, Alex Lemon suggesting Pretty Poison. There's a pick. Matthew McLean, by the way, you're all welcome. Yes, Matthew McLean and Rob Ailing were both the ones that suggested this pick, and it was funny because it was talked about a lot in the comments. So I don't think anybody was too disappointed that we're going to be watching Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, which is actually pretty appropriate for the Christmas season because it did come out on Christmas Day 1993, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Christmas Day 1993. I didn't see it on Christmas Day. I saw it not that long after that. I have seen various movies on Christmas Day. That's always kind of fun to do that, but that wasn't one of them. I would have been 11 when that came out, just to show my age. Rob Ailing, good. Got some Pringles. Moods, Ben and Jerry, again, good. I could always count on you to have some ice cream. Anybody else get snow where you're at? We've been pretty clear up to now, and then we ended up getting snow today. So that was a nice little surprise. Salt and vinegar Pringles, very important. I am a big fan of salt and I was going to say salt and Pringles, but salt and vinegar is a good one. Brad Ladner has a Batman Christmas tree. I shouldn't say this on this channel, but the Christmas tree, I keep pointing the wrong way. The Christmas tree over here has a lot of Marvel characters. Maybe not the right audience to say that to, but they're tiny. They're tiny little ones there. So Jason Knode here, my brother. Excellent. Welcome. Oh, and I see Mary Beth, my wife just walked in the door. So hello. Nice to see you. So yeah, we're all here. If you haven't seen, Mary Beth and I did, this was a couple of years ago, we did a wine and watching Batman Mask of the Phantasm. So there's a link in the description of this video if you want to see that. We don't show the whole movie, but I do show little clips of us watching it and commenting on that. So that was pretty fun to do. Jason, drinking coffee, always a good staple. Alex, born the year this was released. Wow, this movie is the same age as you. That's incredible. Glitch in Black, talking to Andy Reid. Good. We got a good group of people here. And again, if this is your first time tuning into this this live stream, this is kind of something new that I started a little bit ago, going through watching some episodes, and previously we watched my favorite episode, my top 5 favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Now we're watching Batman Mask of the Phantasm, the movie, because that was again was suggested by Rob Ailing and Matthew McLean, so that you can thank them for that. And I do know what we're going to do. I have an idea for what episode we're going to be watching next week, so stick around to the end. I'll be announcing that. But again, we do have we have the super chat feature enabled. If you're so inclined to give a little monetary donation to the channel, I always appreciate that. I'll give you a special shout out if you decide to do that. And I always appreciate that if you're so inclined. If you're not, please sit back and enjoy a free watching of this movie. And I'm going to get the timer up on the screen here, just getting it ready to go. We're at 0. And we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. And again, we'll give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, play, and we'll play that. So get your DVD players, DVD players. There's something new for you. Get your DVD players, your Blu-ray players, streaming services, all ready to go. Vudu or Google Play or any number. This is on all the primary services if you just want to rent it real quick, if nothing else. I think it's only like $3 or $4 to do that. But it's a movie that's worth owning. So this is a good one. Let me just check on some of the comments over here. Saw it was in theaters. Theaters 12/26. Okay, like only 5 theaters were. Yeah, it didn't have a huge release, which is probably why I didn't see it until later. Notes from Alexis, born the month it came out. That's incredible. Happy birthday then. I guess you have a birthday coming up. I think we should do a watch along. Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. There's a good one too. Always loved the poster for this movie. Yeah, this had a great poster. And I think I'll talk about this, I'm sure, as we watch this, but there was something just amazingly thrilling about seeing a show that I watched and loved on TV and seeing it on the big screen. And yes, it's the quality of it is better, but not by much, and only because I say that only because the show had such high quality in there. So we got some other suggestions for some other watch-alongs. Great. Excellent. So we're getting ready to start. I'm going to get my headphones ready to go so that I can hear the audio and it doesn't bleed through, because that's an easy way to get flagged on YouTube. And here we go. If everybody's ready, give me a little thumbs up in the comment section, and we'll get this started. Batman Mask of the Phantasm live watch along. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, play. Wow, that was a little surprising seeing the Warner Brothers logo. And this is another one of those logos, Bugs Bunny coming out from behind the Warner Brothers, that always made me pretty excited that, oh, there's a real cool movie coming on. So early CG animation, and was just enough, still the same style of the animation that we saw in Batman, but this just incredible to see this. It just really made Batman the Animated Series jump off the screen. Of course, the spiced up the theme music a little bit for this, which was fun too. Which I saw Brad Ladner talking about that before we started the stream, that was the animators. Was it the animators' names or writers? But people involved with the production, it was their names said backwards in the. I had heard that before, so. Yeah, and this, when this came out, it's the only movie. I mean, there's been several animated series movies that had come out. This is the only one that went to the theater, and it was a very limited release. And yeah, and the Christmas season can't be an easy time to come in. But look at this matte painting of the city, still has the red sky, and then we transition into this animation, which is very familiar. I mean, it's just, I think the scale's bigger, and part of it's just by necessity because, of course, in the TV show, we were just talking 4:3 TV, and this is now widescreen, which is pretty cool to see that. Josh P237, the music is perfect. Absolutely. Connor Jackson, I would agree with you. I mean, certainly in this genre. I mean, it's hard to put this up against like a Pixar movie or a DreamWorks or something like that. But certainly in the 2D action adventure animation, absolutely one of the best. And it's so interesting watching it. I mean, it's not a far cry from the animated series. The style. I mean, the music, the score of this is incredible, but they also use that same kind of style in the animated series. They would have orchestras playing the music. I mean, this is certainly a little bit spookier, a little bit scarier than what you would see in the animated series, but good. I know I talked about this in my review, but it does seem like an odd choice to choose the Phantasm as the villain that appears for in the movie. I think I shared this in my review, but it would have been neat to see a movie with all the villains getting together. And there was a couple of episodes that I thought would make a great movie, but then again, you're talking on a big scale, big movie. I guess introducing a new villain. Do you guys agree with me? Would you like to have seen a movie? I know there are kind of your regular rogues gallery in this. No spoilers. They'll make an appearance later if you haven't seen this. J.C. Whitdragon, Batman Forever came out in 1995, I think. So it was a couple of years later. Although the music is very similar to Batman the Animated Series, I believe it feels like there's more of it, more incidental music, kind of layered in there as well. Andy Reid, I thought the same thing, that the Phantasm kind of reminds me of Ghost of Christmas Future, especially when the smoke comes out and all that. Yeah, Rob, definitely more blood, a little bit more violence than what they could get away with on broadcast television. Was a little bit more, little bit more. They had to be a little bit more protective of that than with something like this that they could get away with doing a little bit more blood, a little bit more violence, a little bit more action in there. Oh, for sure, there was definitely a bigger budget. That's right, Matthew McLean. such a film noir shot, just close up on her mouth as she's talking. Very, very film noir. Alex Lemon's Azrael in the animated series would have been pretty cool. Keith David, wow, that would have been a great casting for Azrael. He is a favorite character of mine in the comics. Particularly, I got introduced to him in the Nightfall series, Nightfall, Night's End, Night's Quest, that whole series there. Moods, I don't know the answer to that. I believe that it's painted. Moods is asking, is the background art all painted or a combination of crayons and paint? I believe it's painted. I think that was a traditional standard practice in animation for matte painting the backgrounds, but it was on black paper, black material of some sort that they used for that. Ooh. Batman get a little vicious. Matthew McLean, I would love to see that, to see one more animated movie in this style. And it's just, unfortunately, I don't think that we'll see that in our lifetime, or because it's just, there's something about this that I don't believe can be recaptured in terms of, to me, looking at this and seeing the imperfections and the line art and the texture of it is they just won't do it that way. To the charm of it is the imperfections, in my opinion. But if they were to make it now, it would be about trying to make it just perfect. David Patrick, this movie came out, so 93. The series came out in 92, September of 92. So yeah, this would have been like between season 1 and 2, I think. Although season 1 was really long. I can look that up. But yeah, it was in the middle of the series that this movie came out. Rob Ailing, I'll hold you to it. If you make a movie like that, the old style hand drawn animation, that would be incredible. Hit me up. Warhawk Beyond 2040. Yeah, Phantasm did make a cameo in Justice League United. It felt like a kind of a throwaway to me. I mean, it was nice to kind of play that out a little bit, but it felt a little bit of a throwaway. I do have to say, I like in this story that they didn't default to, oh, let's go back to the beginning and just tell an origin story of Batman. They kind of retell it a little bit, get people caught up in a fashion so that we know who Batman is or where he came from. But I'm so, I have to be honest, I'm so tired of seeing the origin stories of these superheroes. And for some reason, I feel like DC is kind of stuck in that loop And we need to take something from Marvel that they have these characters that just appear and just we jump into it, and we don't need to know the whole backstory. And so I was glad that this episode or this movie they told the origin story without starting at the beginning, and they kind of told it partway through, just in case you've been living under a rock and have no idea who Batman is. They do it this way so that you can be able to catch up for long enough. Sorry, I'm messing with the timer a little bit here. David Patrick. No, Harvey Dent is not in this movie. There is a member of the Rogues Gallery in there. Or I could be wrong. Am I missing something? Is Harvey Dent make an appearance? I guess we'll have to watch and find out. Matthew, I agree. I like that they kind of tell it from a different perspective, not just, oh, Bruce's parents died and he had to avenge them, so he became this. But they tell it through a love story, which they never really tackled in the animated series of having, really digging into a love story plot. I feel like I'm yelling, so I'm going to turn down my headphones a little bit. Batman in his prime here, or Bruce Wayne in his prime. Kind of neat seeing that. Good old Alfred. Alex Lemons, good question. Who to cast Andrea Beaumont in a live action movie? Bryce Dallas Howard, yeah, that would be a great pick. Beaumont makes me think of like a Southern belle, um, which would be kind of fun. But Glitch in Black, yeah, I agree. This is a great take on uh, having Bruce's backstory told this way, and because it's a story, as much as we've seen his origins and we know where he comes from, this is an element of the story. Well, especially that is an element of the story that we don't associate with Batman, but certainly it's a nice story to back this uh, whole movie up with. Yeah, Connor Jackson would be cool to see Batman in his first suit. Um, but again, I kind of like that they jump into it, that it isn't so much about a uh, his origin story as it is just kind of getting us caught up. Emma Stone, Notes from Alexis. That's a good pick. Yeah, I could see her playing that as well. Might be kind of weird to have um, uh, Mary Jane Watson as Andrea Beaumont, but they're actors. They can be they can pick all sorts. Julianne Moore would be good. Yeah, good picks. Alex Lemons, yeah, I love the original Batman suit, the purple gloves and that kind of look, and it's just got a very 30s feel to it, you know, and that's something that I felt like they pulled inspiration from in this. It is the old serials, the old Max Fletcher cartoons, but also the Batman serials from the 40s. Not so much his suit, because he had the bat ears on that was these cones coming out of the top of his head, was kind of funny looking. So I've got my snack here is Hello Panda. I'm not sure how old these are. I found them in the cupboard, but cookies filled with vanilla cream. So I don't know. See how they are. It's gonna get loud for. Something funny about hearing a villain say, "You were always were a loser, Mr. Bronsky." The line always cracked me up. It just doesn't seem like a very threatening, intimidating line for them to say. Not too bad, these Hello Pandas. I could use more vanilla filling, but pretty good. Sunshine Girl, welcome to the party. That's okay, as long as you're. I got distracted by a game. That's all right. That's all right. I have the timer up here. Anybody else that's just joining us, you can get caught up. You can see where we're at. I'm just getting started. I saw a question from Alexander a little while ago. My favorite Batman actor, honestly, has to be Christian Bale, in part because I've always been a fan of Christian Bale from way back from Newsies and Swing Kids, and then for him to step into Batman, and truly, I feel like he was the best blend of a great Batman and a great Bruce Wayne that was very likely you could see him in both of those. And I think because he's such a versatile actor, he portrayed that really well. So that to me, that's always been my favorite live action Batman. Kevin Conroy, hands down the best for animated and just in general, just a great Batman. But as far as live action Batmans go, I have to say Kevin Conroy. What about you, Alexander? Who's your favorite? Moods, that's a good observation that it is a great, the pacing of this feels right. There's definitely more storylines. There's an A, B, and C storyline that's threaded through this. That's all, and they're well connected. As you'll see, again, I don't want to give away any spoilers if you haven't seen this, but it's very well connected when you get to the end. And there's great reveals throughout each of the acts. There's an amazing third act reveal. Again, no spoilers, but that kind of introduces new elements to this. And yeah, definitely it could, the danger of this could have been that they didn't spend enough time on certain elements of that, and could have very easily had a movie get very boring very quick, or try to cram too much in, or not finding that balance. But yeah, the pacing of this, I agree, is really well done. Great shot of Batman. They took their moments to find those very specific spots, like the rain dripping down his face on the watching from the other building is just such a cool spot. I also love this scene. Again, it just plays into that kind of 1950s futuristic view, like I talked about with Superman, but for them to take a moment to go to the Gotham World's Fair, world of the future, and again, this ties in well with the movie. So it's such a cool location to use in the movie. And that's something that's attention that I don't think is given to all movies. Certainly the good ones, but the idea of taking a scene and going, okay, we have to tell this scene, but then just changing where it's located or some parameter in there just to make it more dynamic or more cinematic, is when I feel like a movie really kind of hits its stride. And this does it really well, that they chose these kind of unique depictions. Obviously gets the idea of the Batmobile from here too, which is really cool. Yeah, David Patrick, I'll ask you and everybody else, who is your favorite Batman, live action Batman? Yeah, Matthew McClane. I agree about Michael Keaton. Lobo, Ben Affleck was better than Bale. I have a friend that shares that sentiment. We've had conversations back and forth. He really liked Ben Affleck, and I like Ben Affleck as Batman. It's certainly a different take on Batman, an older Batman, more brute force kind of Batman, and there's been so many variations of Batman in the comics that certainly matches a certain storyline of Batman, and that's why my friend likes Ben Affleck, because those are the stories that he's most familiar with and enjoys. Val Kilmer and Clooney and Bale, Kevin Conroy are the best Batman. Good, yeah, good picks. I always said I think that my brother was the first one to point this out, that Val Kilmer was a great Batman, um, and I think George Clooney was a great Bruce Wayne. And I think if you would have combined the two of their roles, we could have had a really cool Batman. But they each kind of had their strengths. great line. Yeah, Tim Burton had a great Batmobile. That's for sure. Batman rushing into the action. I have to say these Hello Panda vanilla filled cookies don't have a lot of flavor, but they're strangely addicting. Go figure that out. Muslim Uzmanaf, welcome. Thank you. Glad to have you join us. Yeah, JC White Dragon. They are a bit of the '50s kind of greaser look in there. That's a good point. And it is neat too. I like seeing Bruce Wayne in action, and of course we're increasing that tension between the two of them. But seeing Bruce Wayne taking action, this version of Bruce Wayne, they kind of can take that approach. I know in some of the iterations, they Bruce Wayne kind of plays himself a little bit weaker, a little bit naive, and leaves the action to Batman, which kind of increases that mystery of who is Batman. And here's the rub: not knowing having to choose between the two, which I think again is a great focus of these kind of backstories, flashbacks. Rob Ailing, yeah, it's good to see Bruce going through this kind of turmoil. Yeah, the dialogue is pretty on point in this. Yeah, this scene in the graveyard, I mean, it really shows it shows Bruce Wayne struggling with sort of the choice not being his, this sense of duty, this sense of honoring his parents and honoring the commitment that he made to his parents is I don't think that that's dealt with as much in other movies because this idea of not having a choice, him wanting to be with Andrea and just not able to do it, not able to cross that line. Lobo, that's a good question. Anybody else know if Kevin Conroy was the only actor to voice Batman and play him in live action? With his little cameo that he had in the CW Arrowverse? That's a good question. Let me know if anybody else knows. Alexander, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you've been a fan of the channel, and yeah, I love your comments. That's the whole big fun of doing this is being able to interact with people, and this is just a new way of being able to interact. I try to comment back on as many comments as I can on the videos, but this is a nice way to just immediately be able to talk back. Brad Ladner, good call. Adam West, yes, that's right. He did. He did do both. Although he started out as the live action and then moved to the animated. But yeah, that's good. This guy always kind of creeped me out a little bit. Um, Matthew McLean, that's a good point. Yeah, if his parents knew that he was doing this, they may not have been so pleased. But yeah, which is a great turmoil. I mean, that internal struggle of like he certainly put this on himself, this burden on himself, based on what happened to them and how his what he felt his responsibility in that was. Which to me is, I mean, all of that is what makes Batman such an interesting character and superhero. Is that constant struggle that he kind of goes through, trying to figure out how to make it work, and feeling that drive that is unlike, Superman, who arrives on this planet, had no choice in this, has superpowers, and just makes the choice of, okay, I'm going to help people with these powers. This is, and this movie illustrates really well how Batman, Bruce Wayne, did have a choice. He could have done something else, could have been with Andrea, and but again, no spoilers, but I think you know what happens to him as he proposes to Andrea, whether he stays with her or not. Sunshine Girl, thank you. I love you too, and yes, I agree. The fans are great here. This is always so much fun to hang out with all of you. Yeah, the picture with the mayor, that's nice. Yeah, Rupert Thorne always was kind of the main villain. I mean, one of the main gangsters. There were several gangsters in there, and in the animated series, and so they had a lot to play with. But certainly, and it could have been anything. Why he wasn't, if there was availability of the actor, or anything like that. Christian Bryan, welcome. Such a I I'm just noticing this now. That scene there at night, a little bit more on the countryside, but the sky was blue, or a dark blue for night. But typically, signature of the animated series was the red sky, but they didn't have that. Alexander the Batootsie, yeah, from the '60s Batman. Very popular meme now. This is a great, great shot. I agree. Connor Jackson. Again, very film noir, all shadows, close up on the eyes. And I think seeing it through Alfred's face again was a very cinematic way of doing that to, Alfred, who knows Bruce Wayne very well and has watched him train and watched him do this, but seeing him with fear in his eyes about when he first sees Batman, Bruce Wayne in the outfit, I think says a lot to that fear that it will induce in criminals yet to come. Alex Lemons, who would I cast TV series? I actually thought Jeremy Irons was a great Alfred. Um, I thought, yeah. Who else? Who else who would you cast as Alfred? There's been a lot of great actors that have played Alfred. Michael Goff in the original Batman movies was very good as well. Big reveal. I love that he says, "Gas, could it be?" which is what the audience was thinking as they saw him. Uh-oh, Sunshine Girl found a Joker card on the floor. Maybe he knows what that you're watching. Connor Jackson, yeah. Michael Caine was another great one. That's right. Yeah, so many good actors have played. Christopher Plummer, that would be a great choice as Alfred. Rob. Matthew McClane. I would love to see a Riddler movie done in the animated series, and I feel like that is. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Riddler in the new Batman movie, Robert Pattinson. But yeah, I think there's so much available for a story with the Riddler. Now, my fear is that he may be a more of a secondary character in Robert Pattinson's, but maybe not, because they did say it's going to be more of a detective story, which again certainly leads itself to have Riddler in there as the villain. But I would love to see an animated Riddler movie. What about everybody else? What villain would you like to see in an animated Batman movie? Guano Man, nice, nice. I love that. Again, a testament to Mark Hamill, how well he kind of the dynamic in his voice going in and out of anger and happy and um, I mean one of the best Jokers. Of course Heath Ledger was great and Jack Nicholson in that, but Mark Hamill just really captured that madness that you see in the Joker. Just wanted to remind everybody, if you're just tuning in, we are watching Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I have a time code up here where you can see if you want to jump in, we got the second half of the movie left to watch, and you can sync up with us. We're about 40 minutes into it. if you'd like, or you can go back and watch this from the beginning. We have the chats enabled, so we can talk and share thoughts about this. Again, if you're so inclined, I do have a super chat where you can make a monetary donation. I always appreciate that. I'll give you a special shout out if you choose to do that. But by no means do you have to. You can sit back and just enjoy the movie and have a conversation with us. I'm trying to answer as many comments and questions as I can, but certainly if you're in the comments, feel free to jump in there and play along with some of the questions, hypothetical, a lot of who would play this in a movie and that sort of thing. But questions about the series and that, jump in there and help me out wherever you can. Bob Hoskins as the Penguin. See, another great, these are great castings. You guys should get into casting. Of course, if Bob Hoskins was still with us. Fantastic actor. I just watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Wow, I messed that up. Who Framed Roger Rabbit just about a week ago. And he's so good in that and so good in everything that he is in. Always enjoyed him. Thankfully, I did not see Son of the Mask, Alan Lemons. I didn't even know Bob Hoskins was in it, but now I feel like I need to watch it. I just read Jim Carrey is supposed to be coming back for another mask. That image of Sal really, really creeped me out. Ricardo Winter, yeah. Michael Keaton as Batman Beyond. I made a video talking about that. Excuse me, of the idea of Bruce Wayne coming in. It may happen. There's a lot of rumors swirling around, and there's supposed to be a Batman Beyond live action series coming to HBO Max. I haven't heard any official confirmation of that, but that's what I heard. And yeah, and Batman, or Michael Keaton's supposed to be coming back in the Flash movie, so it could happen. I would not be surprised if we do see that. I love that look Batman gives to immediately looks over to where his Batwing was, and police are already there. Evading the police. They don't show this element. I mean, certainly, again, let's be honest. Batman is breaking the law. Ear itches. But they don't depict that a lot of him evading the law. And obviously they have the subplot in this one that they think Batman is the Phantasm, and so there's kind of a dual element there. Sarah Grace, is there an unhealthy amount of Batman the Animated Series? Yeah, I mean, you can watch that show as much as you want, because every time you see something, every time you watch it, and certainly grow up with the show, you see more, which is something else. Rob Ailing and I did a collaborative video, a conversation talking about Batman the Animated Series and his movie. I believe that's going to be coming out this week on my YouTube channel if I can get it edited in time. And so keep an eye out for that. But that's something we were talking about, is like, you watch it as a kid, you get one thing out of it. You watch it later as a teenager, you get something else. You watch it as an adult, you watch it in different phases of your life. And Batman the Animated Series just continues to reveal itself and different layers of that. pretty shocking seeing Batman bloody and beat up like this is kind of scary. Again, another thing that we don't spend a lot of time looking at when we have, Batman is human. And so, like, he's very heroic and very good at what he does and things like that. But yeah, I mean, like, these bullets will hurt him. If he gets shot, they're going to do some damage. Rob, good point. This is Bullock's almost got him story. Alex Lemons, casting the '90s, early '90s Suicide Squad movie. Nice. Always kind of fun to look at the hypothetical of what that would look like. See, Rob, he explains that. Bruce is hard headed, so you don't have to worry about a concussion. Alex Lemons, the only thing that I would change about this, and it's not, like I said, I would have liked to see, and it's not necessarily a change that I would do with this movie, but I would have liked to see a collaborative story with other villains in there. I like seeing the Joker in there, but I would have liked to see, again, the Riddler and Two Face and some of the other ones in there, because they have so much space in that. But again, that I think it would just take away from the way the movie is. And so I don't think that's a fair statement to be like, oh, that's that I would change that to make that in this movie. I think that maybe is a different movie that I would have wanted to see there. Connor, yeah, I like the original Batman the Animated Series costume. Matthew McLean. Yeah, I know, and nothing like having your dad spoil it for you. I mean, yeah, seeing Andrea's dad involved with the mob, not good. And again, I like that they gave enough story to Andrea that she's not just a love interest, but she has her own story, very much a strong B plot to this um, that plays into this and connects with Bruce's story, and it all feels deliberate. It doesn't feel like, which is why I had a hard time answering that question about what I would take away or add to this movie, because everything works and interconnects so well in the story. It just really makes it work well. Alex, I think just the Joker reveal. Like I said, when he steps out, and just my favorite moment is him stepping out and going, gas, surprise, which is exactly what we were thinking. Almost right about at the halfway point that he comes, makes an appearance. Again, heavy emotion here. Doing a little bit of the rack focus. Again, more cinematic elements introduced into the animation, which they don't need to do, but again, it just adds to it. I had the soundtrack to this on um, cassette tape when I was a kid and listened to it all the time. I used to listen to it while I was drawing, which seemed appropriate. And so there's certain pieces like that I just remember very vividly hearing that over and over again as I was listening. Yeah, they really spend time toying with this story. They were together and then they were apart, and now they're back together, and just keep twisting that knife in there deeper. And it is interesting, you know, that that struggle that you see Batman going through, Bruce going through, having, uh, kind of wrote Andrea off years ago, and now coming back into it, and her coming back into the picture and going, maybe we can make this work. It's a lot of struggle. There it is. And I love that they insert the Joker laugh on top of that. Great lightning moment in there. Yeah, my take, Alex, is that Arthur is dead. A lot of I think Joker gas will eventually kill you. Bat City stuff. If they were to do a remake of Batman the Animated Series, I think we were talking about this last time, but I think it would be neat to do a different take on it. They'll never capture that magic in the bottle again of that original series, but I think there's other versions. I think to either go back and tell the early years uh, of Batman, maybe in, as we were talking about earlier, in that 1939 original design of Batman would be kind of cool. Um, or telling a later story, kind of filling that gap between Justice League and when Batman, before Batman Beyond, that kind of in his later years, and as technology is increasing and his health is decreasing, that what does that look like? I always loved the hat, the Joker hat there, just that wide brim, kind of narrow top. Always looked pretty good. Yeah, Ricardo, it is. It's such a well crafted show. I don't think there's a bad episode in the bunch, and more you watch them, the more you see, and can look at it from different angles, and which is, to me, what great art is about, is to be able to look at it through a different lens or different situations, and it feeling different and appearing different to you is what makes it so good. Alex Lemons, I don't know. I don't know who would make a good Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman was great in Batman and Robin, which I have some challenges with that movie, but she was great. She definitely fit that role well. Um, that's a tough role to play, I would think. It's a great laugh. Oh, Sunshine Girl, yeah, the Scarecrow. That would be frightening to run into the Scarecrow. Yeah, Matthew McLean. As I'm getting older, and feeling new aches and pains in my body, I could relate to that story, and I think it would be neat to see a Batman, not an old man, and I mean, yeah, I like what they do with Batman Beyond, but yeah, I'd like to see him in those later years of like, even just staying up all night. That's more of a challenge. Not healing as quickly. Just to share a little story, I hurt my back over the summer, which I do from time to time, bend over, pick something up wrong. And usually it's like a week or two and not even, maybe a couple of days and I'm back. This lasts for a couple of months. And it was just ice packs and heat and ibuprofen and everything I could do to get it. Finally went to the doctor and he gave me some muscle relaxer and that and got it healed, but it just took longer. So anyway, I think it would be really cool to see a Batman getting older and struggling with some of those normal things. Maybe that's more of a sitcom story, but I think it would be neat to see. And also like I said, with the as technology is advancing in the Batman Beyond world, for him to be using more tech and robotic suits and what made him create that Batman Beyond suit, those kind of things I think would make a really interesting show. Yeah, JC White Dragon, I would agree. The laughing gas, I think we've all been in those moments where we just are laughing so uncontrollably and it hurts your stomach and your muscles and you just can't stop, can't catch your breath. So and usually that's for a positive, happy time or whatever, something that really hits your funny bone. But yeah, to have that as a gas and not wanting to laugh but having that uncontrollable laughter would be pretty rough to handle. Yeah, you're right, Matthew. Yeah, Nolan kind of showed that, the bruises and scars and all that. Ouch, Sunshine Girl. Babies are babies are brutal. Yeah, I don't think Clooney. Again, I think that Clooney was a good Bruce Wayne, but not a great Batman. I had a hard time buying it. I'm spending all my time reading the comments. I'm missing the movie here. Did they really, Rob? I can't remember. They cut the Joker fighting Andrea on UK on TV. I don't remember. I'm trying to think if I ever saw this on TV. I know I rented it on VHS several times. I got the DVD when that came out, but I can't remember if I ever saw it on TV. If I could even remember if that scene was cut out here in the U.S. I love the echo, the reverb, and that comes across in Phantasm's voice. It's nice. There's the reveal. That's some thick gas smoke that like swirls around his head and stays in there. And this is what's great is having Bruce's and Andrea's worlds kind of converge, that they both set out on this path, handled it two different ways, and it's kind of interesting to think like what would have happened if they would have stayed together. What would have that have looked like for them to fight crime together if they could have found some common ground in the way that they wanted to go after villains. Would have been pretty crazy. Would have been pretty interesting to see what that would look like. Very interesting, Rob. They Bond. They wouldn't show Bond hitting a woman. Yeah, yeah. Some of those broadcast laws are kind of interesting when you think about what they will allow in one version and not in another is kind of wild. Yeah, this is definitely one of those movies where you start watching it and you go, "Oh, that adds such a another element to it." Now that you know the reveal. Sorry, adjusting the timer. It's a little cut off there. Um, that yeah, once you know what the reveal is, and that's one of the reasons if it's a good movie and you can watch it multiple times, that you should be able to pick and choose and get more out of the episodes each time you or the movies each time you watch them. It's the movies that you watch once and you go, okay, well, yeah, it was entertaining. I got what I need out of it. But it's a whole nother thing when you can really lean into it and get more out of it as you go. Yeah, yeah. Andrea, JC, yeah. The Andrea is certainly has kind of the same ideals as Jason Todd. Yeah, that seems about right. I trust the Watchtower guys. They certainly know their stuff, and they guess him as about 34. I would agree with that. You know, because even in the show, like if you look at, there's certainly a maturity to him, and just a strength and kind of that prime element of it. And this is what I love. I love that it full circle comes back to this world of tomorrow, and just a great landscape for this is where a Joker would make his hideout, which is really cool. But also just a nice way of little WB logo there, but just a nice way of like kind of tying it all together. I love full circle kind of moments in movies like this. Sarah Grace. Yeah, Jason Todd is a pretty neat character. Very much disliked in the comics when they first introduced him, which was when they had a vote to see if whether or not they would should kill him off. It was like I forget what the responses were, but it was overwhelmingly towards yes, kill him off. And I think because people just like Dick Grayson, which is understandable, and they just Jason Todd was different. But yeah, what they've done with him in the comics recently, and kind of reinventing him has been really cool. I love the planes flying through the miniature city. A very feels like a very God's or King Kong kind of moment there with Batman in the miniature city. Again, just a great location. Why have some fun with it. This could have been in any old warehouse or hideout or the old joke factory or whatever that Joker hangs out in, but to do it in this familiar place, but also the place that him and Andrea had a date in is really cool. Yeah, and this is something that they didn't get to do in the animated series was really spending some time with these final battles. I mean, by the time they got to this in the episode, they only had a couple of minutes, so they get to kind of layer in. If this was an episode, this would have been one thing, probably this jetpack fight with Joker, and that would have been it. But they got to have some fun with it. I love that his tooth is knocked out too. Of course, that doesn't stick with the continuity. Maybe it does. Maybe he gets a partial or something. But in the context of this, is really pretty cool. And I don't know what all of you think, but I was glad. I mean, I think I mentioned this before that sometimes Joker feels a little overdone. He's kind of the iconic Batman and Joker, like that. That's the pair. But there's so many great villains that sometimes it feels like it's an easy option to pick the Joker. I like that he's in this movie. I like that the role that he plays in there, but I like that he's just a secondary character and has a secondary story to Andrea and the Mask of the Phantasm, or the Phantasm, I guess. Um, and it makes for good. I mean, you could have done a couple of different characters in that role, but I think the Joker fits well in this. But I'm glad that they didn't just go, "Oh, we need to make a Batman movie. Let's make it with the Joker as the primary villain." Gen 13 animated movie. I don't think I ever heard of that. I'll have to check it out. I love this when the choir comes back in, Joker's still laughing, the fire, blood. I mean, you tune into something like this and you go, okay, this is obviously not an episode. Batman's cape all ripped up, just very very brutal. Maybe a little symbolism there of the world kind of exploding around him. I don't know. Yeah, Brad. I know Andrea makes some appearance in the comics. I haven't followed it too closely, but I do like it when they acknowledge other elements of the canon. It's really tough because you got a lot of different writers and a lot of different storylines that they're balancing: comics, shows, movies, and everybody kind of has different agendas and things like that. Um, and nearly impossible to keep it all as one thing. Not impossible, but challenging. But I do like it when I say that because I'm very forgiving of like, oh, that doesn't connect, but I do like that, and this is a great speech with Alfred. Yeah, it does. I could see that this being kind of an end of the Batman the Animated Series. I know a lot of people kind of include it as just one of the episodes, and it does really connect well with all the stories. I think because it gives so much of a flashback to the past, kind of makes it feel early for me, but certainly it could be Batman looking back on it much later. Ooh. Yeah, there's another this theme that comes in at the end. Remember very much that on my cassette tape. Brooding Batman, Bat Signal, and the adventure continues. You know, I think it's a great closing to the movie. To that it goes on. They're seeing Batman on the rooftops and feeling his emotions and missing Andrea and all those things, but then he's got to get back to work. So there you have it. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Um, the Such a great movie, and this is another one that just really holds up well. It really kind of has so many layers to it, and truly I think it stacks up against just traditional Batman movies. It's a great story, and it's a story that needed to be told in a movie. Like this couldn't have been a story to this extent. Couldn't have been a story told as a as a two-parter or even three-parter episode. It just wouldn't have worked because a lot of the multi-parters of the episodes, you notice like they do kind of stand on their own. This one is so kind of layered it wouldn't have worked. But yeah, thank you all for sticking around and watching that movie. It's always much more fun watching movies with everybody else and talking back and forth and sharing kind of thoughts and opinions about that. Great emotion in there. Yes, looking through some of the comments here. Brad Ladner, music reminds me of the end of Dune. Yeah, it does have a little bit of a Dune feel to it. Similar ending of the 89, yeah, looking up and see the bat symbol. And again, that was just a classic imagery of Batman continuing on to continuing. Yes, round of applause from Sarah Grace. Yeah, moods. Great job from everybody in the BTAS family team. All did an incredible job. Yeah, and I think this is where the oops, sorry. Yeah, the which was a big thing in the '90s. The kind of love theme that would play at the end of the end of the credits. Just kind of little goofy, but kind of shows its age. There's some movies that you watch and then it's not until they seem to age well, and then you get to the credits, you go, oh yeah, that was a big thing in the '90s when they would have the love theme that they are playing through. But I'm gonna just look over the comments here, see if anything else sticks out. Really fun. Thank you, Matthew McLean. Yes, thank you again to Matthew McLean and Rob Ailing for choosing this movie. And as I said, I do have a pick for next week. You're welcome to still give me a super chat with suggestions that possibly we'll use those in the future. But next week, being right before Christmas, if that's something that you celebrate, I do want to watch Christmas with the Joker. Is that what it's called? Christmas with the Joker. Yeah, is going to be our just before Christmas, and we'll have a little watch along, little Christmas watch along. I'm going to have some hot chocolate, and I have my tree. I keep getting the wrong side. It's over here, right? I have my tree set up, so. I know a couple of you have mentioned that as well. So look forward to that next Wednesday, Christmas with the Joker from Batman the Animated Series. I know it was kind of toss up between that and Holiday Nights, but we kind of stuck with Batman, the original Batman the Animated Series. So hope you all will join us for that. A little Christmas time just before we take a break from the holidays. And as always, thank you all for hanging out with me. I see so many comments. Thank you all for being a part of this and sticking around. Let me just get this. Got the display capture still up there. But yeah, it's always great fun for me to have this chance to connect with all of you and talk with you in this way. Like I said, I try to respond to as many comments, but having you all hang out here together. And this video will stay up so you can watch it back as many times as you want, as you see fit. So thank you all. Love you all. Stay safe. Stay well. I know this holiday will be a little bit different, but use technology and virtual ways of connecting with family, but it doesn't mean that we can't call up our loved ones and tell them that you're thinking of them, or send a Christmas card, whatever the case may be. But thanks you all. I will see you next week as we watch Christmas Time with the Joker, and keep an eye out on my channel. I have a few other videos that are going to be on their way very soon, I promise. So thank you all. Have a great night, and I will see you very soon.